To no one's surprise, hold on. Let me send one message out real fast. But to no one's surprise, ICE is as evil as always. 911 calls reveal misery at ICE's largest detention facility.
El Paso 911, operator Casas, what is the address to the emergency?
We're at Camp Montana East ICE detention facility. We currently have a detainee actively suicidal, attempting to hurt himself.
The Associated Press obtained 130 911 calls involving the nation's largest immigration detention facility set up at Fort Bliss Army Base in Texas.
I have a patient here that's suicidal and homicidal.
This is a 27-year-old female. She's 12 weeks pregnant. She has extreme lower back pain and a headache. She's not eating. She's not drinking.
Along with interviews and court records, they offer a disturbing portrait of overcrowding, medical neglect, malnutrition, and emotional distress.
Every day felt like a week. Every week felt like a month. Every month felt like a year. You know, the torture, just, you know, the lack of sleep, the lack of food. Inhumane is my main word.
Owen Roman Ramsing spent nearly 5 months at Camp East Montana before he was deported to the Netherlands in February.
I lost everything. Everything.
They're getting substandard food. They're not getting the medical that they need.
They're concentration camps. That's all they are.
Shut down. And it needs to be shut down immediately.
The Texas Democrat has called for an investigation into the contractors running the facility.
People should be moved by the abject cruelty, but if they're not, I hope they're moved by the fraud and corruption.
A Department of Homeland Security spokesperson said, quote, claims that there are subprime conditions at ICE facilities are false, adding that the detainees receive food, water, and medical treatment in a facility that is regularly cleaned. Ramsing was a legal permanent resident when he was detained last September, flying back into the country. Immigration authorities cited a drug conviction when he was 16, for which he had served prison time.
I had at least 60 notarized, what do you call those?
Character letters.
Character letters from very high-powered people, talking about, you know, attorneys, doctors, police officers. I'm a big part of the community of Columbia, Missouri.
During his time at Camp East Montana, a Cuban man died in early January of asphyxia after he was restrained following what ICE said was a suicide attempt. Ramsing,
which was a murder, we covered this,
says he overheard a guard say that there was a $500 bet over whether the next suicide would occur by a certain date.
And then I turned around and said, what the f-? Like, basically, you know, you're betting against me, like, basically, like, committing suicide? Every single one of us, with the what we were dealing with inside there, it went through all of our heads. You know, that the suicide is real.
DHS called his account false and said the facility provides mental health treatment and tries to prevent suicide attempts. Meantime, Ramsing is living with his father in the Netherlands, separated from his wife and 3 children, figuring out where and how to rebuild his life.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complete destruction of the life that he lives. It's just Nazi shit. It's just Nazi shit. Calls to 911 poured in from staff at Camp East Montana, Texas, nation's largest U.S. immigration or ICE detention facility at a rate nearly 1 a day for 5 months. Holy shit. Coronavirus. Every day felt like a week. Every week felt like a month. Every month felt like a year. Who spent several weeks inside the camp before his deportation in February to the Netherlands. I mean, this shit is completely fucking psychotic. And we've been seeing shit like this come from them for months. Years even. 5 years ago, sexual assault allegations at El Paso.
Describe allegations of sexual assault at an El Paso ICE facility. Good evening, I'm Natasha Paloma.
I'm Daniel Marin.
This is all Democrats and Republicans.
The advocacy group Las Americas calling for an investigation. KTSM 9 News reporter Stephanie Shields is live in the newsroom.
Legal complaints from at least 3 detainees at the El Paso Processing Center date back to November 2019. Some allege officers would offer release of custody or other favors for sex.
The terrors of detention at our local El Paso ICE facility have morphed into a new horror.
Linda Corchado, the director of legal services at Las Americas, says at least 3 detainees at the El Paso Processing Center accuse ICE officers of sexual assault.
These victims provide a pattern of systematic, predatory behavior exhibited by guards.
In complaints shared with KTSM, the women claim officers forcibly touched them and engaged in sexual acts in areas of the facility out of the view of cameras.
On Wednesday, as I tried to set up a confidential legal call with my client, I was told over the phone that the lieutenant said she can't go to a private room to speak with me.
Corchado says she called on the El Paso field office director to issue a stay for one victim who faces deportation. She says investigators could lose her as a key witness.
That's why he should ensure she doesn't become another victim who is deported and disappeared.
Several law enforcement agencies, such as the El Paso County District Attorney's Office and the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Western District of Texas, issued statements saying they are aware of the allegations and are calling for investigations by Homeland Security.
Okay, and I mean, obviously that was underneath Trump again. But the thing about it is, this is concentration shit. I mean, these people will call Hispanics, Latinos, any immigrant vile, disgusting creatures, and then rape them, like objectively. Just fucking evil, 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 evil people. And you need to hate them. Hate them so much. If you ever figure out that somebody is an ICE operative, you need to publicly shame them forever. They need to be publicly shamed into never having an emotional connection again. Because all they're doing is living in a world where they hate a group of people, hate anybody who they want to, and then assault them and murder them and treat them with cruelty. Camp East Montana was 1,000 times worse than a prison. Yeah, I mean, it's literally just tents. Mostly just tents. Fueled by billions of dollars in new funding, ICE operations across the nation have roiled communities, separated families, and created a culture of fear in pursuit of President Donald Trump's vow to rid the country of unauthorized migrants. The mass arrests have swelled detention centers and set ICE off on a national chase for space to warehouse those who have been apprehended. Far from the worst, Trump vowed to deport. The data from ICE show that 80% of the camp had no criminal record, were instead caught up in a far-reaching dragnet. Camp East Montana looks like a pop-up village with 6 long tents along a stretch of Chihuahuan Desert outside of El Paso at the U.S. Army base Fort Bliss, once the site of internment camp for Japanese Americans during World War II. Inside the hastily constructed camp, a series of communal living pods shelters thousands of immigrants in color-coded uniforms and Croc-style shoes. But the stories of conditions of facility revealed in data and recordings from more than 100 911 calls obtained by the AP, in addition to follow-up interviews and court filings, offer a disturbing portrait of overcrowding, medical neglect, malnutrition, and emotional distress. I mean, and the thing is that this country doesn't rein it back in at all, or things get even, we're one step away from just murdering people in these camps. Because that was the issue for Hitler and the Nazis. They had too many people in the camps. So what do you do when you have too many people? You just murder them. Detainees struggled to obtain medication, healthcare, lose concerning amounts of weight because of a lack of food, and live in fear of private security guards known to use force to put down disturbances. Yeah, and also additionally, that using private security guards is, again, another Nazi tactic. In an email, Department of Homeland Security or DHS spokesperson did not provide their name to reject claims to supply conditions, saying Camp East Montana detainees receive food, water, and medical treatment in a facility that is regularly cleaned, which is what they do with every prison. But as we know with the prisons, they are not upkept well. They are not received proper nutrition and lack of water. And they are in just a desert. Guards betting on suicide is not a surprising thing either. Staff reported that a 36-year-old Nicaraguan man died by suicide. A 55-year-old Cuban man tried to harm himself, then used handcuffs and force to restrain him. Medical examiner Gerardo Lunas Campos' death was homicide caused by asphyxia. In addition to those cases, detainees attempted to harm themselves while exposing suicidal ideations. On at least 6 other occasions that resulted in 911 calls, DHS said the facility's medical staff closely monitor at-risk detainees, provides mental health treatment, and tries to prevent suicide attempts. But how can you do that? I don't understand what the plan is there for them. Because the thing is, you can't provide mental health support if you're just going to continue abusing them. It's a non-stop cycle. It's a non-stop cycle of abuse and harassment. And at the end of the day, they're not truly providing mental health support. The people running these camps, Nuremberg trials. According to AP's reviews, 130 calls made after the camp's opening in mid-August through January 20th. It's not easy in here psychologically. You just keep thinking, like, all the time you're thinking for a solution. It's really mentally draining. Immigration authorities arrested him in Chicago in September at an appointment with his wife, a member of the Army National Guard, to register their marriage in pursuit of legal residency for him. He was quickly shipped to El Paso. Cuban immigrant in 50s told AP requested to receive his medication for diabetes, high blood pressure, and a large prostate during his 6-week detention, but it never arrived. Oh, God, dude, 6 weeks. He could have died at any moment. 6 weeks of no insulin, no lisinopril, I'm assuming. I don't know what he would take for a large prostate, but these are daily medications, weekly medications that you need to survive. Just desperate, the man once refused to leave the living quarters when a cleaning group came. ICE officer offered him ibuprofen and urged him to consider leaving for another country. He says, "Look, there are a lot of detainees. We don't have enough for everyone." The man from ICE says to me, "Why don't you decide it's better to leave? Leave for Mexico, go to Cuba. We can have your medicine, have your things." Shit like this deserves infinite Nuremberg trials. Every single person that's involved with these, including Kristi Noem, including the new DHS secretary, including Trump, including not Jeffrey Epstein, JD Vance, needs to be sentenced to life in prison, minimum. And not have their sentences repealed at all. Because that happened a lot. Because truly, after World War II, people tried to, like, push everything away. We need to not let that happen. Granted, they didn't have the media landscape and technology of social media that we do today, which I think puts us way more in the forefront of everything. I think without social media, I think truly they would be just murdering people in ICE camps and then saying, like, oh, they died to suicide or X, Y, and Z. I almost guarantee the death rate would be tenfold higher if not for social media. And I do think social media is a social pollutant, but this is one of those cases where it's like, okay, this is absolutely saving people's lives. Because you can't just go around killing people if someone's going to record it or post about it. I hate Republicans and conservatives. They voted for this. Every single Republican and conservative voted for this, and they have this on their shoulders. Trump said he was going to do this from the get-go. Never let them forget. Never let them forget what they voted for. Truthfully. If anyone ever says they voted for Trump, be like, okay, so you voted for people to die in ICE facilities. No, I didn't vote for it. You know you did. You did. You did vote for that because you knew what Trump wanted from the get-go. You knew what he wanted from the beginning. You did vote for this. Yeah, I don't know. Fucking awful, evil human beings run this country.